Welcome to today's deep dive on scaling legends. Today, we're focusing on a topic that pretty much keeps just about every construction business owner awake at night.
Oh, absolutely. It's the big one.
Right. We're talking about transforming your team management and, your performance conversations from this dreaded bureaucratic chore into a powerful engine for actual business growth.
Yeah, moving it from a headache to a real strategy.
Exactly. And to do this, we're looking at a stack of sources today. We're primarily drawing from Smart Business Automator's Market Intelligence Report, which it gives this incredible data-backed look at construction team dynamics and AI automation.
It's a really comprehensive look at what's actually happening on the ground.
It really is. So our mission for this deep dive is to give you, the listener, a highly practical blueprint to retain your top talent and, directly boost your project profitability.
Because that's what it all comes down to, right? The bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. Now, before we get into the how-tos, I want you to imagine for a second that your absolute best skilled worker, like your top foreman, or maybe your most reliable project manager, walks up to you today and just hands in their notice.
Oh, man. The ultimate nightmare.
Right. You know it's going to sting, but do you know exactly how much that resignation letter is actually going to cost you?
It's a number that genuinely shocks most owners when they finally see it.
It really does. I mean, replacing a skilled construction worker can cost your business up to 150% of their annual salary.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 150%.
Right. So if that foreman is making, say, $80,000 a year, replacing them could cost your business up to $120,000.
Which is just a staggering hit to the bottom line.
It really is. And it's happening every single day across this industry.
Okay, let's unpack this because we have to look at why this turnover is happening in the first place, right?
Yeah, we have to look at the root cause. And it usually starts with something we all universally despise, which is the traditional annual performance review.
Oh, yeah. It really is the root cause of so much friction.
Yeah.
Traditional annual reviews are statistically shown to be highly ineffective.
They really are.
I mean, think about it from the worker's perspective. You're pulling someone off a loud, muddy, chaotic job site once a year.
Right, taking them totally out of their element.
Exactly. You sit them down in a stuffy trailer and you hand them a piece of paper with some arbitrary rating from 1 to 5.
It feels entirely disconnected from their daily reality.
Completely. And the sources point out that 70% of employees report that they do not find these reviews motivating in the slightest.
70%. That's massive.
It is. And that disconnect leads directly to widespread disengagement across the crew.
And, disengagement isn't just some corporate buzzword. It actually has a heavy price tag attached to it.
A massive one. Disengagement is currently costing businesses in the United States an estimated $550 billion annually in lost productivity.
Wait, $550 billion? With a B?
With a B. It's a staggering macroeconomic statistic. But in the construction world, we don't feel it as a macro statistic. We feel it as very specific, localized pain points.
Right. We feel it on the actual job site.
Exactly. We feel it in project delays and blown budgets, sudden safety incidents.
Oh, no. Safety incidents are a big one.
Yeah, and just that constant feeling of putting out fires because the team just isn't dialed in.
I want to frame it this way because it really highlights the absurdity of the traditional annual review approach. Think about your heavy machinery.
Okay.
We would never, ever ignore a heavy excavator for 11 months out of the year, right? Perform zero preventative maintenance, and then suddenly do one massive, highly judgmental inspection.
Right, and then act completely shocked and angry when the engine inevitably seizes up in the middle of a massive earth-moving phase.
Exactly. It makes no sense at all. So why do we treat our most valuable asset, our people, worse than we treat our equipment?
That is such a great analogy. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it is entirely about a necessary paradigm shift in management.
Okay, what does that shift look like?
Well, the most successful contractors in the industry right now are fundamentally shifting their mindset away from evaluation, and they're moving toward what the research calls a growth partnership.
A growth partnership.
Right, because evaluation looks backward, and it judges. It basically says, here's what you did wrong 6 months ago.
Which nobody wants to hear.
Exactly. But a growth partnership looks forward and develops. It says, here's where we are going, and here's how I can help you get there.
Which totally changes the entire dynamic of the relationship.
Precisely. When you treat feedback as an ongoing coaching opportunity rather than this punitive grading session, the entire culture of the job site changes.
Right, the walls come down.
Yeah, employees start to feel genuinely supported in their career development. And this isn't just about making people feel warm and fuzzy.
Right, there's a business case for it.
There's a hard bottom line impact to this shift. Businesses that cultivate these highly engaged teams see a 21% increase in profitability.
Wow, 21%.
It's a direct correlation. You invest in the people and the projects just run better.
That 21% increase is huge. But let's bring this down to earth for a second.
Sure.
Because knowing that the traditional annual review is a failure is one thing. But how do we actually implement this growth partnership on a real job site without losing precious hours of the day?
That's the real challenge, isn't it?
It is, because the first major operational shift we see in the sources is moving toward continuous informal check-ins.
Right.
We're talking about ditching the yearly marathon and replacing it with a cadence of maybe 15 minutes weekly or maybe 30 minutes bi-weekly.
Exactly. It's short, it's highly focused, and it's regular.
So it's not a big production.
Not at all. The mechanism here is simple. By having a continuous feedback loop, you are able to address minor issues proactively, like before they snowball into major, expensive problems.
Right.
And equally importantly, it allows you to celebrate small wins in real time, which really builds momentum with the crew.
And the results really do speak for themselves. I mean, reading through Smart Business Automator's market intelligence report, companies that implement these regular check-ins see a 10% lower employee turnover rate.
Which is massive when you think about the replacement costs.
Exactly. When you factor in that 150% replacement cost we talked about earlier, a 10% reduction in turnover is saving you massive amounts of capital.
Oh, absolutely.
But I have to push back here because time is literally money in this industry.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Right. I know exactly what you, the listener, are thinking. Who actually has the bandwidth to pull a foreman aside every single week, even for just 15 minutes, when concrete literally needs to be poured and a dozen subcontractors are screaming for answers?
It is the single most common pushback, and honestly, it's completely understandable. The job site is a pressure cooker.
It really is.
But you have to weigh the alternatives, you know?
Yeah.
You have to look at the actual causality of project failures.
What do you mean?
Well, skipping that 15-minute proactive chat might save you a tiny sliver of time on a chaotic Tuesday morning.
Sure.
But what happens when a misalignment regarding, say, the architectural specs isn't caught early?
Oh, man.
Right. It easily results in 3 days of incredibly costly rework a month later.
Yeah. You're basically paying upfront to avoid a massive penalty later.
Exactly. It is fundamentally about preventing fires rather than just fighting them all day long.
Right.
Investing 15 minutes now buys you hours or even days of smooth execution later.
Okay, that makes sense. Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Right.
If we are committing to these 15-minute check-ins, we really need to talk about the quality of those conversations.
Yes, the content is crucial.
Because if I just pull my foreman aside and vaguely say, hey, do better next time, or great job out there, I've just wasted both of our time.
You absolutely have, which is why the actual data you bring to that conversation is the linchpin. You have to move beyond vague statements.
Right. It needs to be grounded in reality.
The feedback needs to be specific, actionable, and tied directly to project data. Let's look at a concrete example.
Let's hear it.
If you want to talk to a project manager about their scheduling, you don't just say, you need to be faster. That gives them absolutely nothing to work with.
Right, it's just frustrating.
Instead, you provide specific context. You say, on the Smith project, your team completed the framing phase 2 days ahead of schedule, which demonstrated incredibly strong leadership and coordination with the subs. Let's look at exactly what you did there and how we can apply that same strategy to the upcoming Miller job.
That's so much better. It's the difference between eyeballing a foundation pour and using a laser level.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. Like you would never just eyeball a foundation and hope it's straight. It would be a total disaster.
Right.
The data is your laser level. It removes the guesswork, it removes the emotion, and it provides a true straight line for your team to follow.
What's fascinating here is how transformative it is when you teach your leaders to trust that laser level instead of just relying on their gut feelings.
Yeah.
Because the sources emphasize the critical importance of actually training your foremen and your project managers to act as coaches.
Wait, hold on. You want me to take my toughest, most grizzled 30-year veteran foreman and turn him into a life coach? That is going to get me laughed right off the construction site.
That is a very fair point, and we need to clarify what coaching actually means in a blue-collar context.
Please do.
We aren't talking about sitting in a circle and talking about our feelings, right?
Good, because that's not happening.
Coaching on a job site means clear, unvarnished communication about expectations, roadblocks, and performance.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It means asking a worker, what is slowing you down today? And how do I get that obstacle out of your way?
That's very practical.
And the data backs this up. It doesn't require a week-long corporate retreat. A very small investment of just 1 to 2 hours focused on active listening and how to deliver effective, constructive, data-backed feedback can reduce project errors by up to 15%.
Wow, a 15% reduction in errors from just a couple of hours of communication training.
Yeah, it's huge.
That is an incredible return on investment. And the materials also discuss taking this a step further, right? With scaled 360-degree peer reviews.
Yes, exactly. For smaller construction teams especially, a simplified 360 review process is incredibly insightful.
How so?
Well, it means encouraging project leads to provide constructive feedback to one another, not just having feedback flow top-down from the owner.
Right. It's designed to identify blind spots that a single manager might miss, because the guys in the trenches see things the owner back in the office never will.
Exactly. It also uncovers hidden leadership potential within the crew.
Yeah, guys stepping up.
It builds a much stronger, more collaborative environment where everyone is invested in each other's growth,
Right.
rather than just keeping their heads down and punching the clock.
All right, I need to point out the elephant in the room here.
Okay, let's hear it.
I know what you, the listener, are thinking right now. You're thinking, I can't even get my guys to accurately fill out their daily time cards. How on earth am I going to get them to do a 360-degree peer review and weekly data-driven check-ins?
It's a very real concern.
Because construction owners and project managers are already drowning. They are buried under an avalanche of paperwork, daily logs, change orders, and administrative tasks. How do you scale this deeply human connection without burning out your management team entirely?
It is the most critical question of this entire deep dive.
Yeah.
And the solution is that you have to automate the busy work.
Automate it.
Yes, use purpose-built technology to handle the heavy administrative burden so that you actually have the mental bandwidth and the physical time to manage your people.
Right, buying back that time.
Interestingly, Smart Business Automator's Market Intelligence Report shows that a well-implemented feedback system supported by the right technology can lead to a 10 to 20% improvement in key performance indicators.
10 to 20%.
Yeah. KPIs like completion times, budget adherence, and safety rates, all within the first year alone.
That is massive.
But to implement that system, you need an engine running in the background.
So let's look under the hood of that engine. The sources detail the specific capabilities of an AI platform built specifically for the construction industry.
Right.
And I want to be clear about how this works, not just what it does. It starts with smart document organization and search.
Which is a lifesaver.
Truly. Picture a project manager sitting in a hot trailer, sweating, spending 2 hours clicking through a nightmare of nested Windows folders, just trying to find a specific permit photo from 3 weeks ago to reference in a coaching session.
It is a massive drain on productivity. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
But the AI solves this through natural language processing. It automatically tags, sorts, and categorizes everything. Every photo, every blueprint, every note.
So they don't have to manually file it all.
Exactly. So instead of digging, that project manager can literally just type, show me the plumbing rough-in photos from the second floor of the Miller job.
And it just finds it.
Yeah, the AI understands the context and retrieves it instantly.
That alone saves hours. And then we have the automation of daily logs and summaries. Because we all know field reports and weekly meeting discussions can be incredibly long, muddy, and, well, just rambling.
Oh, absolutely. No one wants to read them.
No one.
And they don't have to anymore. The AI uses its language models to read through pages of unstructured field notes, look for the actual action verbs, and extract exactly who is responsible for what.
That's incredible.
It turns a 10-page transcript into a bulleted list of crystal-clear action items by the next morning.
So project managers stay perfectly aligned with the ground truth without spending their evenings doing administrative formatting.
Exactly. They get their evenings back.
Then there is the project health and risk detection. This is where the AI acts almost like an early warning radar system. But how exactly is it predicting these risks?
It does this by constantly reviewing project schedules and financial activities, and then comparing them against vast data sets of historical construction patterns.
Okay, so looking at past data to predict the future.
Right. It recognizes the early, subtle signs of a bottleneck, like maybe a specific sequence of drywall installation is taking 20% longer than it historically should.
Which usually means something's wrong.
Exactly. The AI flags the schedule risk and budget variance long before it becomes a massive, unfixable issue, giving leadership the visibility to pivot early.
That is so powerful. We also have to talk about how it handles the communication loop. Like when an RFI, a request for information, comes in from a sub asking for clarification on a structural detail, it usually stops progress dead in its tracks while everyone scrambles for an answer.
It's a huge bottleneck.
Yeah.
But the platform can actually generate draft RFI responses. It does this by instantly scanning historical context, past project documentation, and existing architectural records to suggest a highly accurate answer.
Wait, it writes the answer?
It drafts it, doesn't send it automatically. A human still reviews it, of course.
Right.
But it reduces the response time from days to literally minutes.
That's a game changer.
And when a change order comes through, the AI evaluates the downstream effects. It analyzes how that single change might impact the overall timeline, the cost, and the execution strategy of the next 3 phases.
So it maps out the butterfly effect of the change order.
Yes. It allows teams to respond strategically rather than just reacting in a panic.
And finally, it checks incoming project information against the established specs and compliance requirements to catch oversight risks early.
Which is huge for mitigating liability.
Absolutely. But hearing all of this incredibly advanced tech, I do have to ask the obvious question. Does relying on an AI project assistant and all these automated workflows make a construction business feel, well, less human? Are we just replacing a bad annual review with a sterile robot manager?
That is a very valid concern. But it actually completely misses the core philosophy of why these tools are implemented in the first place.
How so?
You automate the administrative tasks precisely so you can personalize what truly matters.
Ah, okay.
The technology is absolutely not there to replace the human connection. I mean, a robot cannot look a stressed out foreman in the eye and help them navigate a difficult subcontractor.
Definitely not.
The AI is simply there to absorb the tedious manual coordination required to run a project. It frees up the project manager's schedule so they can actually step out of the trailer, walk the site, have that 15-minute check-in, and do the valuable high-level human coaching we've been discussing.
So the AI handles the paperwork so the humans can handle the people. So what does this all mean? Let's summarize this blueprint for you to take back to your business. First, you have to ditch the outdated, punitive annual review in favor of continuous, short check-ins to prevent fires before they start.
Step 1.
Right. Second, you shift the conversation to forward-looking goals that align with your company's bigger picture. Third, you ensure that the feedback you give is specific, actionable, and driven by hard project data, your laser level.
The laser level, yes.
And finally, you leverage purpose-built AI automation to buy back the administrative time you desperately need to actually lead your team.
It is a comprehensive system. It shifts your entire operational culture from one of reactive problem solving and box checking to proactive growth and continuous improvement.
We started this conversation looking at the hard, terrifying data. Replacing a skilled worker costs up to 150% of their annual salary.
Such a scary number.
But here's a provocative final thought for you to mull over the next time you are walking your job site. We know the massive cost of someone leaving, but what is the hidden, entirely unmeasured cost of keeping a completely disengaged worker? Someone who is quietly draining your project's efficiency, your safety margins, and your team's morale day after day, simply because you haven't taken the time or utilized the tools to properly coach them.
That's the real cost right there.
We hope this blueprint helps you fundamentally transform your team dynamics. For all the construction business owners listening, if you found today's deep dive valuable, please subscribe to Scaling Legends on your preferred platform.
We really appreciate it.
We would love it if you could rate and review us, and most importantly, share this deep dive with your colleagues or your management team so you can all get on the exact same page.
Yes, share it with the team.
Finally, to learn exactly how you can scale your operations and buy back your time without drowning in admin work, visit smartbusinessautomator.com. Thank you for diving deep with us today, and we will catch you on the next one.